Assalamualaikum 7th class. I am your science teacher Miss Iram Hassan from APS Damyal campus. For this week lecture we are going to discuss chapter number 4 water and sound waves from your textbook New Secondary Science book to page number 52 to 56. The topics we will be covering are waves, waterways, features of waterways. Open your book and turn to page number 52. As you can see the definition of the waves, a wave is a kind of oscillation or disturbance that travels through space and matter. Wave motions transfer energy from one place to the another place. There are three types of the waves: sound waves, light waves and water waves. Sound waves. Sound is made up of the vibrations that we can hear. These sound waves are formed by the objects. As you can see in the picture, the dog is barking and it is creating some sound waves in the surrounding, and a person near the dog is hearing the sound from the distance. When the sound waves reach the ears, with that makes the delicate skin of our eardrums vibrates, and that's how we are able to hear the barking. The light waves are the electromagnetic waves by which light is traveled through a medium. Light is a kind of energy. When light travels between two places, for example from sun to earth or from a flashlight to the road so you can see the road, energy makes a journey between these 2 points, and that's how the light is traveled between two medium. The water waves are the surface waves, and it is a mixture of longitudinal and transfer waves. Now what is transfer waves? When wave is moving in this direction and the particles which are present in the waves are moving up and down in this directions, now the waves are formed are known as transfer waves. When the direction of the waves and directions of the moving object is perpendicular to each other, this is perpendicular to each other and it makes the 90 angles. These type of the waves are known as transfer waves. The terms which are used to describe the waves are crest, trough and amplitude. Now what is crest, trough and amplitude? To know these terms, imagine you are sitting by the lake side and you throw a stone in still water. What will happen? Circular waves will appear. Water surface will move up and down in this form. Waves are formed. How up and how down the waves are is known as the amplitude. How up and how down the waves are is known as amplitude of the waves. The highest point or the up point is known as crest. The lowest point or the down point is known as trough. The features of the waves are reflection of the waves, refraction of the waves, diffraction of the waves and interference of the waves. Now what are these terms? Reflection of the waves. Reflection. When you see yourself in a mirror, this is the reflection of the waves, reflection of the lights. What happens when the light hit the boundary of the mirror? Its direction is changed. It is reflected. This is known as reflection. Reflection is the change in the direction of a wave at a boundary between two different media. This is another media and the mirror is another media. When the light hits the boundary of the mirror, its direction is changed. This is reflection. Refraction of the waves is when the change in the direction of the wave is caused by the change in the wave speed. Change in the wave speed. Like the light movement in the air is another and in the water it is lowest. Speed of the wave is different in different media, you know that. Sound travel fastest in the solid than in air, That's the case in here. Look at the picture. Light moves fast in the air. When it moves towards the another media, which is water, its speed slows down because light have different media, different speed in air and water, which makes an illusion that pencil is bended in water, but actually the light changes its directions. That's how it sees like that the pencil is bended, but actually the light is bended. This is known as refraction. Can you guess which option is the example of the reflection? This is the example of the refraction. Example of refraction, example of refraction. This is the example of reflection. The next one is the diffraction of the waves. Diffraction is when a wave spread out after they pass through a small opening. Waves are spreading out when they pass through a small opening. This is known as diffraction of the waves. Wave interference is the phenomena that occurs when two waves meet while they are traveling around the same medium. It can be constructive interference or destructive interference. Test yourself, page number 52, question number 1. What do waves do? Waves carry energy from one place to another. Types of the waves: water waves, sound waves and light waves. What type of wave is a water wave? Water waves are transfer waves. This means they move up and down or oscillate at right angles to the direction of travel. Right angles or perpendicular to each other is the same thing. Describe the motion of the water wave. If you throw a pebble into a pond, waves spread out from the pebble went in. These ripples are waves traveling across the surface of the water. What does oscillate means? Oscillate means regular upwards, downwards or backwards and forwards movement. Describe what happens to water waves when they strike a flat surface. Waves are reflected at the same angle as they hit the flat surface. What happens to the wavelength of water waves when they pass over shallow water? Water waves slows down and they shortens when they reach shallower water. Explain the difference between constructive and destructive interference. To know the difference between these two types of the interference, imagine you are sitting by lake. You throw two stones in the lake. They create two types of the waves. Two types of the waves are created which will interfere with one another constructively or destructively. Constructively means they create something new with high amplitude. Destructively means nothing is created, it is destruction. Constructive, construction, destructive, destruction. Constructive interference: if two waves meet with the peaks matching peaks, they add together and produce a much higher wave with a greater amplitude. Destructive interference: if two waves meet each other with peaks matching thus they cancel each other and produce a wave with no amplitude. There is no wave. That's it for today's lecture. Write down these questions on loose sheets and learn it. Thank you very much.